Hello, beautifuls! Have you just realized that you can't afford to cover the outside walls of your house following the huge price jump of basically everything? We hear you very well. Here's what we found as a solution to this problem we became sadly familiar with. I'm Noemie, and along with my partner Remi, we became the Wildcrafters. After building ourselves a tiny house, then a log cabin, we went on a 3-month trip during the pandemic, living the van life up north in a little teardrop camper we also made from scratch. These days, we are bringing you on a different path by challenging ourselves to make a unique and beautiful Airbnb from an old abandoned house. All that in 2 months, my friends. Hold on tight, because this is gonna be a wild ride. Nature seemed to just burst into life at the moment, which marks for us the short but very sweet time of year when we can just live outside again before having mosquitoes biting us all over. Oh man, that vitamin D was so welcomed in our bodies after a long winter. It felt amazing. We experienced very warm temperatures this week, and it made us just want to be outdoors now that the inside of our house is almost done. So we decided it was time to work on the outside part of the renovation and make what will become cedar board siding. Taking advantage of the weather was just a no-brainer. What a nice change it was this week. We paused the work at the house to be back in the woods, milling cedar to be able to have enough siding to finish this project. With the current economical situation here, it has become more and more difficult to source and afford building materials. We decided that we were not going to compromise on the quality, especially on something as important as the outer shell of our house. So we decided to buy cedar in 8-foot log, which was a fraction of the cost of already milled wood, and mill it ourselves into board siding. This will ensure that we have the best quality possible without the huge bill that usually comes with that type of product. Making the siding isn't very complicated in itself, but you need to mill the log in a certain pattern that will maximize the usable wood you're gonna end up with. The first part is to remove the bark and square out the log by milling either 1 inch or 2 inches board. The goal is to thin down 2 sides so we then have a block of wood that will be the exact width of our siding boards. If you are interested in the exact measurements and a more in-depth explanation, let us know in the comment section and it will be a pleasure to give you all the info you need. Now, what you are watching Jeremy doing is shimming one side of our block so the straight saw blade create an angled board. For each new cut, he will either remove the shims or put it back in the same position so the angle is alternating in a zigzag type of motion. Hope it makes sense, but you'll be able to see that in action throughout this video. This is definitely a long process, but the sun was shining and we were motivated, so we rolled with it. From any East Coast average size log, we were able to make around 8 pieces of siding, 1 2x4, and at least 2 or 3 1-inch boards. Our house requires around 1,000 pieces to be able to cover the whole thing, so we were there for quite a while to say the least. I can't express how good it felt to be outside the whole week. We had the best weather. It felt like summer but without the bugs, which we took time to appreciate before they all come out and drive us crazy like it does every year. We were so not used to the warmth of summer yet that we had to go find a perfectly cold creek to cool ourselves down. I just love swimming so much, I pretty much take every occasion I have to do it. Some were less courageous and didn't went all the way in, but that's not me. So after being nice and refreshed, we went back to the sawmill. One thing this project is teaching us is that no matter what life throws at you, there's always a creative solution to any problem. Tippy is showing a good example of that. Good job, Tippy. I really find working with whole trees and transforming it into a finished product super satisfying. It requires a lot of patience, but it's super rewarding to be able to create our own building materials. It feels like making that choice gives us the freedom to step aside of big industries that often don't have the best interest of the forest in mind. The cedar logs were harvested by a good friend of us on his land, and we pretty much milled it on location. That's really small-scale economy, and we like it like that. Thank you very much for being with us again this week. I hope you enjoyed seeing the process of making board siding from scratch and completely off-grid. I hope you had a great time watching us, and have a wonderful week.
Hey, c'est hot. Wow.